Moving right along, the next item on my agenda came to my attention that at the last council meeting, there was a request for an update from the Riverfront Development Commission. And so I confirmed with the chairman, Mr. Humphreys, of what he would like to share with you regarding the activities of the Riverfront Development Commission. So I will turn it over to him at this point.
Mr. Browning, Council, Mr. Early, and City staff. It's always a pleasure to appear in front of you, and tonight I have the opportunity to talk a little bit about what the Riverfront Commission has been up to. But I think perhaps for the public's knowledge, it wouldn't hurt to talk a little bit about what the Riverfront Commission is and what it has done. First of all, it's not an old body. It was created by council in 2000, June of 2000, excuse me. And it is 15 citizens, people who are appointed by City Council to provide their input and to provide their knowledge, their experience, their wisdom as to what we think would be good for the Saginaw Riverfront. There are also 3 city staff persons and then the city manager that sits on the body. Right now, we only have 13 community members. We are looking for a few more, and we certainly would be happy to entertain anybody's applications. The Riverfront Commission is purely advisory. It has no legal authority to adopt plans or to approve plans. It is merely a body that gives support, guidance, input, direction when requested. Just about anything that happens in the Riverfront corridor comes to the Riverfront Commission. Well, what is the Riverfront corridor, some may ask? It's essentially everything on either side of Washington and on either side of Michigan, from the south end of Wicks Park all the way north to the railroad bridge on the other side of the Henry Marsh Bridge, I-675. And whatever may happen in that area, the Riverfront Commission is interested in. So I would say that our primary responsibility over the years has been, vetting might be too strong of a word, but it's certainly reviewing the various plans and proposals that are presented. Historically, the Riverfront Commission was given a budget, and it was a fairly significant budget in the early days. And in those days, it was able to help do things like work with the Shaheen family in developing Washington Avenue. It was a collaborative effort between the city and the Shaheen family, between public and private endeavors. It has worked to bring about the move of the Rifkin facility from its present location to the other side of the river, an area a little bit more in tune with what they do, which will ultimately free up yet more land for riverfront development. Anytime somebody wants to bring a business in to the community, they will present to the Riverfront Commission, and we will provide some feedback and input, whether it's the Bancroft Eddy project that's underway, or whether it's something that may develop from the charrette. And Pam was correct. We have been in contact. I have spoken several times with Dolores McKinney. She has been to some of the Riverfront Commission meetings. She is keeping us in the loop, and I think perhaps on behalf of the public, through the city, we will be involved in that charrette process. So it is perhaps number one, a responsibility of the Riverfront Commission to report back to the Planning Commission, who does have the authority to say, yes, this is good, no, we need you to fix this, no, this is not good. And to report to the city manager and when asked to city council as to what we're doing. We like to pursue economic development opportunities when we have the chance. It was one thing when we had a few $100,000 to work with in the early days. It's another thing with, I think our budget is $2,000 a year now. So our economic development is done perhaps more privately. At present, we have several things on our wish list, which number one includes the development of a true riverfront loop. Right now, we have an excellent walking trail, biking trail alongside the east side of the Saginaw River. What we're hoping to do is make it a full loop, both sides of the river. So if you wished, you could cross over one bridge, go up one side, cross over again, and come down the other. There is a feasibility study that is underway. I have to give a lot of credit to Tom Miller Jr., to Herb Spence, and to Les Tinknell, who have been working with Jeff Klopsick and the Spicer Group in doing the necessary groundwork to see just what we can do. We have a possible project that we're hoping to really get off the ground, and that's the phase one of this river loop, starting, say, at the south end of Ojibwe Island, crossing over the Saginaw River, the Anderson Bridge, up along Niagara and the developments that we have there, coming back across on the Frankie Bridge, Holland Avenue, and then connecting up with the north side of Ojibwe Island. That would be phase one. It appears that that could be done somewhere in the neighborhood of $145,000 through grant and perhaps $42,000 of matching funds from the community. The next step would be to try and expand that so that ultimately we go all the way up to Johnson Street, so that you would have multiple different avenues to cross over the river. Part of it, we're looking at some signage, historic markers. There was an awful lot of activity for many, many years on that riverfront, much of which was very significant, whether it was the lumber era, whether it was the old gun plant and the work that was done there. It would be nice to have those kinds of things. Long term, we think that there is a possibility of hooking it up with the whole rail trail system, so that maybe you would start in St. Charles, go all the way from there through Saginaw and end up somewhere Bay City, somewhere north, parts north. That's been a primary focus. For a little while, we were looking at a kayak or canoe launch. The old Wicks Park boat launch was a desirable site. And the commission member that was working on that unfortunately had to step down. Paul Versiglio stepped up and started to work on that, and then he had to step down. So that one's sort of on the hold for right now. The third thing that we focus on is riverfront beautification. And every spring now for, I believe it's 11 years, the Riverfront Commission has spearheaded a project to try and improve the appearances of the riverfront area. This last year, we had 45 plus volunteers. We had over $1,750 contributed, and we spent an entire day down at the Japanese Gardens. We had people from Dow Chemical, from Garber Management. We had city employees that volunteered their time. AT&T participated. We had volunteers coming in all day long, cleaning up the Lake Linton brush front. I think we had 5 tons of pea stone that we brought in and spread, 7 or 8 yards of mulch that went out, picnic tables that got stripped and painted, a bridge that got painted. We helped beautify the Japanese Gardens. In years past, we have done the boat docks on the western side of the river. We've done the boat docks at Ojibwe Island. It seems like we spend a little bit of time at the pavilion every year. Last year, one of the big projects was the picnic area on the northeast side of Ojibwe Island. It was unusable for all intents and purposes until the Riverfront Commission group and the volunteers who gave their time and some of their treasures went in there, cleaned everything up, fixed everything up. It's usable again. It was amazing. People said, geez, I didn't even know that was there. Well, that's one of the things that we do. It would be nice if there were more projects like that we could do, but it was said, the monetary situation is tight. The days of Lansing giving us money to do this or Washington giving us money to do that, I don't know if they're going to be coming back. But what I think the Riverfront Commission has been doing is working with some people in the private sectors, some businesses in the private sector to get things done. I would say that on behalf of the Riverfront Commission, we are supportive of the charrette. We think it is a good idea because we believe that what it does is brings everybody who has an interest in the future of this community together for an intensive workshop to come up with kind of a consensus as to what would be a good thing to do within the guidelines of our master plan. I'm looking forward. I wish I could be at the meeting tomorrow night so that I could hear the presentation again. But we support it. We think it's a good idea. It is something that will only enhance what is happening right now. We've got the first Merritt Park. We have what has been done through the Friends of Hoyt. That Hoyt Park Pavilion is beautiful. And driving here tonight to see the cars lined up there and know that there are softball games going on and activities there. It takes a collaboration between the public and private sector. And I think that's one of the things that the Riverfront Commission helps do. At this point, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you, or at least try to. Otherwise, I'll just close up and sit down.
Questions? Any council member with questions? Comments? Go ahead. Councilmember Braddock?
You talked about all the beautification that's gone on this summer. There's also another group out there that's been financed by the Department of Natural Resources, a summer youth job program. Have you worked with those kids and doing some of that work that you talked about?
We have not, and that's one of the things that I realized this spring that we really need to do, is to perhaps coordinate some of the different activities, the Youth Making a Difference Day. That didn't occur on the same day. It sure seems to me that things like that could be done. The other thing that needs to be done, frankly, is a plan developed to take care of these things through the course of the whole summer, or perhaps even through the course of the whole year. My frustration as a gardener is to go in, do this work, make it beautiful, and then 3 months later the weeds are this tall. Or to see things that we installed get lost to construction. Those are the kinds of things that I would like to see us do. There needs to be more collaboration. Kiwanis, downtown Kiwanis was very helpful in taking care of some gardens and things. And I want to give kudos to Sue Seibel, who for years coordinated the Adopt a Park program. There were private groups that adopted and took care of and took over various parks throughout the city. Unfortunately, because of her change in jobs, I think that program took a year off. We'll see what happens this coming year.
Thank you.
Information for Councilman Braddock. Actually, the group was actually working at Hoyt Park. I was running, and they were actually fixing up Hoyt Park and going all over the place. So there is some collaboration. May not everybody know it, but when I was trying to run 3 miles, I saw them working. So it's there. It's just getting that information out there to people so they know would help out.
And sharing. It's something we've been wanting to hear for some time, so thank you.
It's my pleasure, and we'll try and make sure that you get copies of our minutes.
Yeah,
You
that'd be
can see
helpful.
exactly from month to month.
Yeah.
And then we do have Mr. Browning participates and can perhaps answer some questions sometimes too.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So I was just taking notes here, just some of the projects you've worked on. Sounds like, I know we've been working on the Ripken move for some years now. Do you have a timeline or date when that actually is going to happen? First question.
We don't, because it's not within our purview to be able to say, do this by this date, or can you have it done by that date? What we can do is encourage and encourage. I think they want to move, but the logistics of that, they take time. I think what we've been saying for a couple of years now is soon, but much more definitive than that I can't give you.
Okay.
That is outside of our control.
Sure. I do know that the other property has been, for a couple of years, been being developed across from Pastor Davis's church over on Washington Avenue. So I believe that's the site where Ripken is slated to move. Okay. So the second area you mentioned on your wish list is the development of a loop. And then you said long-term you would like to expand the rail trail system, right? And you say also you're looking at working on or having a canoe launch.
as a commission, we have a wish list
Right.
of things that we would like to see done.
Right.
Because one of the things that we do support are recreational activities, the best use of the riverfront. In the early days, one of the goals of the Riverfront Commission was the opening of a marina.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, we've discovered that working with the railroad companies is more difficult than working with the federal government. And because they have locked and closed the railroad bridge at the north end of town, I believe the maximum height of a boat that can get under that bridge at low water is about 13 feet. And as a consequence, the development of a marina south of that, downriver from that, upriver from that, is a little bit difficult. That doesn't mean we don't want it. We'd love to have it. But I think we'd have to limit it to boats about this tall.
Yeah.